Yeah. All right. All right. So hello. Welcome to what is today, Thursday, and welcome to the Audrey Rain Show. I am your host, Audrey Rains, and I am still supposedly an adult. Also, I have had a shower. Let's give me a round of applause for that, please, and thank you. Thank you. I've had 3 days off in a row. And that's fairly rare for me in this profession of mine as a mail carrier. It's been a wild time. Hopefully, fingers crossed, the route is in fact getting cut. I am excited about that. I'm hoping for that. Hey, girly girl, how you doing? Hi, Jeff. I'm just gonna keep hoping that it'll work out. You know what I mean? I don't know, but I hope that it will. First and foremost, I want to thank my patrons and channel members without whom I would not be able to keep creating this wild, fun, funky content. Also, if you are a member, y'all have emotes. Y'all have special emojis to use. I don't know if I've ever said that before, but you do have those. I have them, and you can use them. Also, all of this is set up as a podcast format underneath the Audrey Rains Show playlist, so you can just listen to these. You can have me babysit your cats and your dogs, bringing that one back for my friend Lara. You can have me cat sit. Don't have me babysit your actual babies, though, because they will pick up some things that they really shouldn't, and I am not kid friendly. All right. So, listen, I know we've all been watching. For those who are not aware, Puff P. Diddy has flown the coop. He is gone. And from my understanding of the 24-hour news loop that my mom has been watching, you heard that right, my mother has been watching this all day. I thought I was bad. I'm nowhere near as bad as my mom. My mom is like literally sitting there like, this is wild. Hi, brisket and ribs. Like, my mom's legitimately just sitting there just like, oh my God, this is wild. I can't believe it. I'm like, yeah, ma, I can. I've known. Hey, Dark Angel. Listen, my mom's out grocery shopping right now. She's like, I think I'll have a rotisserie chicken. I'm like, all right. This stream not sponsored by Blackberry Izzy, one of my favorite drinks. I'm drinking it not cold today, because sometimes when that little fridge back there makes things extra cold, it hurts my typhus. So I just want to start this out by saying I always believed Aubrey. Okay, I always believed Aubrey. I couldn't quite figure out what the issue was, what the situation was, but I found it on the interwebs. Because on Making the Band, yes, I'm taking it all the way back there, because listen, I'm elderly. I've said this before, and I was around for all of the making of the band. I was there for Making of the Band before it was P. Diddy, and the band that came out of it was O-Town. Okay, and where are they today? Exactly. So then Diddy took over, and the first band we got out of that was Danity Kane. Now, one of the things that always bothered me is that he was always harping on how Aubrey looked. Made me so angry every time, because I was like, you didn't have put her in the band because she's such a good singer. That's not why you put her there. You put her there because she's sexy, and then you would act like that's not what you did. Anyways, I wanted to show you all this clip because I'm sure it's been circulating, etc., etc. But let's see if I can do it properly this time. All right, let me move this right here, because I do too much, and then sometimes I do too little. But I wanted to go ahead and show y'all this clip so that we could collectively agree. Collectively agree. Okay, let me pop that like right here, and then we got that. All right, now we're wavy gravy. And why? Okay. So we have this here. Look at me. I'm starting to do things. He was always very hard on her. And let me just show you. I'm like, in my best Professor Snape. Listen, I know, but like the actor. All right. And let me know that you can hear when I get this on its full size. There we go. Here we go. This is the Aubrey versus Diddy. I'm sure so many people have been watching this today, but this back in the day. This is when I was like, this man is gaslighting her because he's so, listen. I'm like, listen. And I haven't shown you anything or played anything.
You want to show all your skin. You want to be naked.
Hi, Janet.
But the whole concept of Danny Kane was like, when it comes together, it's one.
Puff's going hard on the group, and then all of a sudden he singles me out and starts going on and on about how unhappy he is with me. And I just feel like nothing that I do, he's ever happy with.
Can I ask a question? What do you want to look like, though? Do you want to look like a playboy, playmate? Do you want to look like you?
Puff, I'm done with all of that.
No. Like, what do you want to look like, though?
I'll tell you.
What do you want to look like, though?
I'll tell you. I'm not focused on me. I'm focused on what this group should look like and how I should fit in this situation.
You like big hair, though.
I don't like big hair.
You do like big hair. You like big hair.
Puff,
You like a lot of makeup and all that.
Actually, I don't. I don't like big hair. I don't like certain makeup. I'm very flexible with what you want to do, and I've worked with everything that you've thrown
I'm not
at
seeing the flexibility. You gaming me.
Your hair people came in today, and they said this is how it needs to be.
You know what I'm talking about.
That right there. Listen, I know people are going to laugh at me, and they're going to be like, Audrey, what? This was the moment where I was just like, this man is gaslighting the hell out of this woman. Because even when he's talking to her, he's like, you like this, you like that, you. And like, look at my girl's face. Look at both of them. They're just like looking at him like, what the fuck? Because we all know Diddy is the one who decides how they look. So how is it ever her? I was like a weird Aubrey stan. I don't know why. I just, I think it's because I felt it for her for being a personality hire. Cause she like, listen, I'm not saying she can't sing. I'm just saying that's not what she was in the band for. So I always found it weird that he would start eating her up on this and get after her about how she looked when we all knew that he was the one pulling the strings on how she looks, like how all of their looks were. So I couldn't, like, my brain would not allow me to be listen, brisket and ribs. I'm not even going to get into her weird ass personal life. That is none of my business. It's none of my business. I'm not a stan now. I was then. Okay. And unfortunately, money is money for some people. Money is just money. Once you have a little bit of it, it's hard. I guess it's so hard to say goodbye to all that green. It's very difficult to let go of the monies. I can't promise you, listen. I can't promise you that if somebody wasn't like, I've been on this feet thing lately, but I can't promise you that somebody wasn't like, listen, every month I'm going to give you like $5,000 for your feet to like look at your feet. I'm going to do it. There's no part of me that's going to be like, oh, that's humiliating. I'm going to do it. Money. I need to live. I'm just going to be like, look at, here you go. So back into the party, continue watching this man do this thing. Okay.
You're pushing your own image, though.
I'm not worried about whether my hair is straight, curly, whatever. I'm not here in a
also
curly, straight, big.
Did you see Andrea? She over there with big hair, same eyeshadow look, basically. Andrea, same eyeshadow look, same like super smoky eye, big hair. Like, why? Listen, it's the perception, right? It's the perception that somebody has money that sometimes makes you make incorrect decisions about your life. Some people, not me, but some people may have gotten swindled, hog-swoggled, if you will, by thinking that somebody had rocks that they don't got. Listen, Jennifer Lopez is getting eaten up all up and down the internet, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, maybe if we have time.
Big makeup, whatever. I'm here in a group to sing with my group, and that is all I care about. For real. Like, maybe you just don't get me, and we don't get each other.
You're gaming me, because if I pulled in all of the makeup artists and all of the hair people, they would not say that.
with the wardrobe, did I not try and cover up all the problem areas that I've been seeing were not cute?
Yes, we had that conversation yesterday.
How are you gonna get crazy with me? I work well with these people.
But it's
We're
not
cool.
necessarily just the stomach area.
No, I'm talking about all of it. I mean, I was cool with whatever change he wanted to make today, and I did it.
Yes, you were today, but Aubrey, you have to admit that sometimes when you want to do something, you want to do it.
Well, yeah, I see what the problems are on TV.
Wouldn't anybody? Like this stylist out here, like, this is my time to shine. So I just, and like the way that everybody looks uncomfortable in this. And I remember seeing the scene and just being like, I'm so confused what it is that she's doing that's so out of whack with what everybody is wearing. Do you see what I'm saying? Yes. Yes, Cameron. Like this whole thing, I'm like, okay, hair, everybody's got like the same dark eyes. I just feel like this stylist, even then I was like, this stylist is playing games. Like everybody is trying to make her feel crazy because I thought that she looked good. I didn't feel like there was too much going on. This was back in the titty days. It still is the titty days. But no, I hope the titty days never go away and stay around. But it always made me feel some type of way because I'm like, how is she looking any differently than the rest of everybody? Everybody had heavy eye makeup on, everybody's sitting there like the hair's looking good. Andrea almost always had big hair. An old girl over on the side, like her hair would never do anything other than that flat thing. And that's okay. That's fine. She had like 0C hair. So like, but this scene was always the one where I sat there being like, what is going on? And watching the stylist come trot out and be like, well, but Aubrey, Diddy's got a weapon to my head and I've got to agree with him. He pays my bills, right? Like Missy's Beauty Corner said, and he probably told the stylist to agree with what he's saying. Yeah, because we all saw what happened with Cassie. Pew, pew, pew. Pew, 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 pew.
Looking crazy, or this is looking crazy, that's looking crazy. You even told me, review the things you do and pay attention to what the problem is. So I see what I do and I see, ooh, that was not a good look. Let me fix that. I read the things that people say. You're the one that told me to do that. I do that and I make an honest assessment.
I don't want you to look like Pamela
myself.
Anderson. I don't want to sign Pamela.
Well, that's what like Aubrey
that's in the direction. Well, you don't look like her. You don't look like that girl that I signed.
You know who Aubrey is. Puff, it's 3 years later.
It's 3 years later, and you're going in the wrong direction.
Okay, well,
you're going in the wrong direction. You need to stop the truck, pull over. I'm not changing nothing.
Okay, well, you wanted the weed out, the weeds out.
I just want you to look good.
If you're not happy, you hate me, then why you have me here?
I don't have to have you here. That's one thing that we can make clear. That's one thing we can make clear.
But
I don't have to have you here. I'm trying.
Why do you have me here? Because every time it's just such a problem.
I have you here. I have you here because I feel you talented. But don't get it twisted. I'm starting to think about why do I have you here.
I'm not getting
okay, so you clear on that though. Check this out. You clear on that. You understand now. I'm asking myself why do I have you here? So I'll move on to something else. No, and I'll give you the answer soon.
And that was like right before I think he kicked her out the band. Like, brisket ribs, the joys of being autistic. I am incapable of compromising. Wait, it just left me. Let me put this where I can actually see it. Why do I do this every single time? I make myself miserable every time. And I'm incapable of compromising right, wrong for a paycheck to my detriment mostly. Listen, the thing is, I don't think that there's anything wrong with sharing my feet for the fiends as long as I'm getting paid. I don't feel like that is a morally gray area. It's not right, nor is it wrong. Hi, Kay. Jeff said, I don't know if you've seen Diddy on Drink Champs where he and Fabulous had an awkward moment because Diddy kept referring to his infamous parties. He kept saying, like, yeah, when we party, we party. Yeah, so I just felt like 93 Run, I'll be honest, Diddy's the only person I recognize in this video. You had to be there for Danity Kane. It was a moment. Do you have first aid kit handy? Do you? Listen, It was because my heart is damaged. Listen. Showstopper. And the people who know it knew the words next, and they were like dancing along with it. They could hear it in their heads. Listen, Danity Kane was doing the damn thing. And he talked to these girls so wild. And this, you could tell even in this one that this was like not the first time. It wasn't the last time. He just like would not ever let go. It was like this constant, yes. Like that one, I love that, the beginning of that song. Like, listen, that's on my shower playlist. Like Lemonade is first, I think. And then I think Showstopper comes on, but later Damage comes on. And every time it comes on, I be stomping in the shower. Do you have a first aid kit handy? You know, and I start thinking I'm part of the band, but I'm glad I'm not. That went poorly for everyone. But Mans always had this like problem with, he like picked on her all the time. Like he would get nasty with everybody, obviously, but he would single her out on a very regular basis to the point where if you were a viewer watching the show, at some point you were just like, what? Thank you, Cameron. Fix it, fix it, fix it. Listen. Brisket rib, I'd take a lot less than 5K for feet pics. Listen. It's negotiable. But you would not catch me on the gaslighting bandwagon for money from Diddy. That part. Because like, even when she came out, I was just like, this stylist is tripping. Because she's like, but Aubrey, you know, like when you want things done your way, because she didn't even have anything specific that she said. That's what bothered me, because I just, like, this is old from way back when I watched it. And I remember thinking to myself, like, it's weird that she didn't have like a very specific example of what it is. Like, what is the problem? Well, it's not just the stomach. Or were you trying to say it was her T-tots? Because babes, that's like part of girl group magic. Listen, girl groups have the T-tots and boy groups have that like facial hair situation. That's beards are man titties. That's, quote me. I'm like, beards are man titties. Yeah, that's true, right? If you're Canadian, you might not know them. So, hi, Darbster. So, all of that went down. On the 24-hour news feed, it has been determined, because they kept trying to trick us, being like, Diddy puts out statement, but it was never Diddy. It was his lawyers, and he is now allegedly in Bali, which is a non-extradition place. So he can't leave, because I promise you, like the U.S. Navy, it's just like, instead of doing something worthwhile, they're just all out there like waiting for Diddy to leave. Let that motherfucker get on open seas. That's like, they're just waiting. They're just waiting. And we all knew, those of us who like knew, we knew when Cassie's lawsuit was settled in a day, we knew that this was coming. We knew the avalanche had started. That was the pebble that got dislodged from the little, and now it's all just like, now there's boulders falling down. Because let me get you all into some required reading if you don't know exactly everything that Diddy has done. Hold on. Because I need to, this creator is one of my favorite creators, and if I can find her, because I feel like they're going to try to bury her content, which really bothers me, because she is a Black creator and she makes these videos. Let me look in my history. Okay. Let's see. Oh, wait. No. no, that is not what I wanted at all. Anyways, I'm going to see if I can find her because she is fabulous. And it might be the commenter. Yes, it is her. I believe it is, in fact, her. It's either, but there is required reading, and she has all of this stuff about Diddy. And if it's not B, it is going to be my intellectual media person, I believe. So I will go hunt that down whilst we're chatting. Honestly, it's a better use of taxpayer money, period. How we talk about the stand-up fella P. Diddy? Listen. So many of us, allegedly, Diddy, Biggie, and Pac, allegedly, according to the Smurfs. I'm just going to leave it like that because I don't want to get in trouble. But allegedly, so many of us believed that this was that this was the truth. Like, so many of us believed this with our entire hearts because we were just like, yeah, no, there's no way. There's no way that this did not happen, because we were all very much aware of what it is that Diddy does. Like, none of us in any way were surprised. Because like, if he was he would talk about Biggie all the time, like, oh, such family, then why did he own the rights to his publishing, like the publishing rights? Why did he own that? Why wouldn't he have that in his family's name so that they could make that money? How come everybody had trouble with him and trying to get their publishing rights back? And then he wants to give them back when they're like basically worthless to them. And I don't mean like they are worthless in that sense. I'm just saying like the mileage that they would have gained was like 20 years ago, it feels like. And now it's not, like, that's not going to help people today. I have got to find where I put her because like she was one of my favorites and I can't find her right now, but she does like amazing long form videos and some of them were about Diddy and she's like fantastic. And it's not any of these people that I have pulled up, but I know I've watched them and I can't find it right now because I'm not a winner and I'm unprofessional. Thank you. Let me be an unprofessional loser on my own. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, they're just not at their peak now. And not only are they not at their peak now, they don't get played a lot. Like, people don't regularly hear videos about or hear music from Diddy Kane on the radio. People aren't streaming it all the time. Like, that is not what is happening. Oh, wait. Okay. But like, you'll have one by like E! News that'll say Sean Diddy Combs responds, and he didn't. It was his lawyer who said that. It wasn't him. He, like, listen, man's left his children behind. He got on a plane. It was like, the fact that like every single thing here is like Diddy is on the run. I'm sorry. It's giving me like, it shouldn't give me giggles, but it does. Like, I know the things he's done are awful, but the reason it gives me giggles is because this has become like a whole story, because his home, for those of you who don't know, was raided in a trafficking investigation. And we have been watching everybody come out and like really talk about this. Like, really, really talk about it. And now all of the creator content is buried underneath like the news, which is very irritating. Very irritating. And then like the J-Lo situation, we have to talk about J-Lo a little bit, but it is just a little bit, because J-Lo is just on this, like, it's very weird. J-Lo has been on this weird trip. The movie is horrible. It's literally hurting my heart because I can't handle it. I'm just like, are you serious with this? Like, why is this happening? You know what? It was Black Femininity TV. Boom. I've got it for you finally. I don't know why it takes me so long to remember things, but my memory is made of trash. And they have I think some of the definitive Diddy stuff ever. So also, if you want to get a look at some of the content that they put up, it's good. They have like the Dark Side of the Bad Girls Club. They have all kinds of really like fun, good content centered on Black media. So I really enjoy them, but I don't know if they're the one who put up the whole Diddy series, but this is a creator that y'all might want to watch if you don't. So that's information for you to have at your hands and your feet. Sorry, I keep saying feet. My one claim to fame was I lived on the same street Biggie grew up on, one block up. Cool. Diddy is an interesting case in the fact I know who he is, but could not name a single song by him. That's because he didn't really make songs himself. It was always like Diddy and Company. And then he had that one Farnsworth ass dude. I can never remember his name because to me he was irrelevant, but he used to like dance around with Diddy and he used to wear like goofy suits. Do y'all remember that? Who remembers that besides me? Please. Somebody please don't leave me alone in that because I feel pretty confident that it can't just be me that knows that. And I used to just call him like Farnsworth or whatever. But that was not his name. And I know that, but I absolutely could not remember. Like my brain would just be like, nah, I don't know. Girly girl, I remember he used to be like the guy with the umbrella. Yes. And he was always like pop it up, pop you do. And we were like, what the hell? It was a very confusing time. Listen, the late 90s and early aughts, because this was my conspiracy theory back then as to why Diddy allegedly had Biggie. It wasn't just about money. Well, it was actually about money because gangsta rap had started to get out of hand and out of control. You know what I'm saying? Because what was happening in the music was starting to happen in the streets. So the only way for that to end, that was always my conspiracy because I'm a weirdo and I will do stuff like that. It's not good for anybody. I'm aware, I'm fully aware that you're not supposed to do that. I'm going to do it anyway because that's who I am as a person. Let me live. But I enjoyed all of that, all of it. Like watching, I will conspiracy theory all Farnsworth Bentley the Third, Natalie. How did you find? His name really was Farnsworth, and I really remember that. That upsets so much of my sensibilities. Like a stupid amount of my sensibilities are upset by that. Like I'm actually upset that I remember that much of it. Like genuinely, I am upset. Please send help. Please send me some help. Because my feelings are genuinely hurt by the fact that I remember any of that. It was a wild time. It was wild. So like when you watch this, and then also the thing about making the band after he gives up on Diddy Kane, he makes the band, DA space band, spelled band, BAND. And it only gets worse. If you were in any way like thinking to yourself, oh, here. Oh, hold on. That it could get any worse on that show if you were in any way just being like, maybe, da-da-da-da-da. It was Be the Commenter. It really was Be the Commenter. Because it was March 4th. Because Be the Commenter does these like long, these several things. And she does one, Diddy and Jennifer Lopez, the one that got away, how she escaped, part 2. She talks about, like, that was a really good video. So if you are not subscribed to Be the Commenter, you should. Does very, very good content, and I very much enjoy it. But it was a different group. It was like Da Band, and there was one episode where he made them like march blocks, like blocks and blocks and blocks and blocks to get some cheesecake. And it's just like, what does that have to do with music? And he was just like, you know, you have to have a will to want it. And like, sometimes you're going to have to do things you don't want to do. But if you want to make it in this business, it was wild. Let me see if I can find that, because that, child, like, it was that was not good. Like, I feel like everybody who saw that, let me see. Anybody who saw that, he had them walking. I can't find it, but it's so like crappy and old. But he told them to walk to Brooklyn to get cheesecake. For what? Thank you, everybody. I saw that clip. Yes. It just kept getting worse. Like, everything he did was like always to ruin people's careers, and and I remember this too. I think that's why I liked Aubrey so much at the time, because she was like the only one standing up against all of this stuff that he was doing and trying to do the group and being like, we should all be together. Meanwhile, he was still backdooring Dawn. Not how I said that. Trying to like create, and nobody really paid attention to that either. Like, there were, he had this show, and he's just like over here, like, once you start finding out how much shit was going on between everybody and how the careers were just getting like, it was bad. It was bad. It was not good. Yeah, he took off in his helicopter with them standing there after crossing a bridge for mid-cheesecake. Yeah, I don't even know if Brooklyn has good cheesecake. Like, I don't. Walk to Brooklyn from where? They were headed to Junior's. I feel like he dropped them kind of like in the middle of the city. It's so old. It was far, and it was really, really cold. Really cold. Like, it was stupid cold for you to have people walking to getting to Brooklyn from Manhattan is a nightmare with public transit. I wouldn't know, because I live in Texas, but also, be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for. Yo. But it was nightmarish. Like, nobody could really even understand. Like, even watching it, you were like, what is the point of this torture? Why would you do this to somebody? He had no answers. He was literally just like forcing people to do like wild things just because. And then I feel like one of them fools ended up in jail for a little while. Like, it was messy. He decided he was going to make a rap band, which I was like, are you trying to make a new NWA? Like, what for? And personally, I don't think it works like that for that, like, my opinion. I'm sorry, but I have a big mouth, and I think I would have lost my mind. I don't do really well in cold weather or really hot weather. Me neither. Listen, I don't care. I would just be like, listen, it's been real. Thank you, Diddy, for the opportunity. I am out. But yes, required reading. I highly recommend you go check out Be the Commenter. She has amazing videos breaking down various different forms of Diddy. I think she has like Surviving Diddy. Like, there's so much with it. And she's amazing. So if you're not there checking it out, definitely do that. And her voice is so calming and reassuring and relaxing. So it's nice to listen to as well. Yeah. So there's that. So we're aware. Diddy did it, allegedly. I just think that if you didn't, my opinion, why are you in a place that doesn't have extradition? If you did nothing wrong, why did you leave your children behind? Like, was there no space on your private jet for your kids? Jesus. But we saw this and everybody was waiting. Meanwhile, y'all know 50 Cent is over here having just an absolute ball. Like, he is having too much fun right now around this whole thing. Because, 50 can never mind his business. So listen, 50 like literally cannot mind his business at all, ever. Like, minding his business is not what he does. He minds everybody else's business and then he laughs about it. Because the way, let me just see if I can show this to y'all right quick. Let's see. Let me see if the mouse wants to be a friend. There we go. So it says here, Mr. Combs had hidden cameras in every room of his home, has recordings of several celebrities, artists, music label executives, and athletes engaging in illegal activity, ... These individuals were recorded without their knowledge and consent, ... Mr. Combs possesses compromising footage of every person who has attended his freak-off parties and his house parties. All right? So 50 says, shaking my head, this is gonna be so good. What you want to bet I'm going to get these tapes? I'll pay top dollar for them. You ever been over there? I don't go to puffy parties. Listen. This just it kept getting worse. Oh, 50 has been funny. 50 has been funny. It's like he quit making music basically and has like lived the rest of his life being a professional troll. That's really what he's done. He's just like, yeah, I don't make any music. I just professionally troll everyone. And like in a fun way. Unlike Chrissy Teigen. Girl, bye. Anyways. I cannot stand Chrissy Teigen. And everybody's over here like, you need your own news channel. Because like 50 Cent cannot. Anytime something, I think Patrick CC has a pretty good video about 50 Cent and his trolling. But like, listen. And this is why I say, like in Hollywood, if anybody here who is in this chat or who watches this video later or future people who watch this, if you're making it in Hollywood, I need you can be a freak, okay? But you got to make sure that there are no cameras. And it's all got to be legal and consenting. As well as the ages of the participants. You get what I'm saying? Everything has to be legal. Y'all can't be engaging in weird stuff and expect that nobody's going to have that on you. Like, that's just not how being rich works. So that is that. That is the Diddy situation. We will keep an eye out to see if Diddy does decide to leave. Right now, it's kind of like over because what's really going to happen at this point? Like, what's really going to happen? Did you see that Nick from The Viewer's Voice went to a Diddy party when he was in the fashion modeling industry and has a story he has yet to tell? Girl, I don't want to know the story, to be honest, because no hate to Nick, but he's had some very traumatic things happen in his life. I don't want to hear about any more of it. I just want him to heal and do well. I mean that in like, I'm dead serious. Like, I just want him to heal and do well and live his best life. I can't I can't handle it. A British creator I follow posts that a 41-year-old Diddy mess with it. Ugh, listen. And Usher. Because there was literally no reason for Diddy to have like young people like living in his mansion while he was having essentially freaknik parties at his house. That's just awful. I don't know if Nick has told his story yet. I try not to, like, I will watch more of some things that Nick puts out, and there's other things that I don't. I do the same thing with Peter Mon. Because I am not, I just need like, yeah, if it's funny, thank you. If it's funny, I'll check it out. But if it's not funny and it's like traumatic. I don't want to know. I am in my, let's be as traumatic, like less trauma, less trauma equals the best for me right now. Because like, I don't like being like absolutely depressed while I'm delivering. Excuse me. No, there's nothing wrong with Usher, but he saw some curious things when he was 14 living there. And here's the thing. That's why Usher likes old hoes. And that's where I'm going to leave the Diddy. That is why Usher likes old hoes. Leave it. That's the end. So next up on the docket. Why am I like this? Listen, let me live. Oh, there it is. Next up on the docket, we are going to, I'm not going to show you the video because I'm making sure that this creator for sure gets every last one of their flowers, gets all of their views, all that good stuff. Wait, hold, pause. But recently, and I hope it doesn't just start because it's going to piss me off if it just randomly starts. I'm going to like have anger in my spirit. And I don't know why it's trying to do too much. You know how sometimes your TV just, like not TV, but your computer tries to.
One of the most important and influential parts of an essay, particularly.
Don't start. And now it's showing as now playing. But one of my newfound creators, Unpoetic Justice, recently dropped this video, which is the hypocrisy of cornbread tube. It's got a long title. I'm like, I'm going to see if no, that's not what I want to do. Kidology's version. And I watched the video 3 times now. It is 2 hours, 39 minutes, and 8 seconds. And for me, because I got no skin in the game, I'm not part of any tube. I'm part of Audra Tube. Nobody wants to hang out with me. I'm cool with that. I'm not a good friend. So I'm like, I'm fine. But if you want to check it out, feel free to do so. I'll have all this stuff like linked later. But drop this video, and I am not a fan. So I normally really, really like her videos. I did not like this video because there's a number of reasons why. One, I felt like it was mostly a defense of Kidology. And while I don't agree that Kidology deserves like a hate mob or anything, I'm going to tell you why I stopped watching Kidology. I was once subscribed to Kidology. I thought that her content was interesting and thought-provoking, etc., etc. However, I recognized something in her videos that was a past me, and I'm not talking about super far past me, maybe 10 years ago me, when I got it together 10 years ago, but a youthful me. So for those of you who don't know, I grew up in Okinawa, Japan. My mom's in the military. I grew up on a military base. As a child, I did not experience racism, had none of those problems. Get to the US. I'm not saying it didn't exist on the base. I'm saying it never happened to me. I'm not saying it didn't exist. And my exposure to Black America was The Cosby Show. Don't start. My exposure to Black America was Political Call. Isn't that apropos? Listen. But was literally The Cosby Show. So when I get here to the US, Texas, as it would stand to be, I had a hard time. I had a very difficult time. It really was at the time. Like, white people didn't really know what to do with me. Black people really didn't know what to do with me. And that's how I felt. Like, listen, at this point, I'm probably 10, 9, 10. So it's not like, maybe 11. So going from thought-provoking to rage baiting is a quick jaunt. Yeah. So the thing is, a lot of Black kids who grow up in suburbia or in predominantly white areas, especially back then, I don't know if they still do it now, but our parents really tried to mitigate that by helping us with the bullying and saying, they're just jealous. They're just jealous. You're better than them. Okay. So you grew up, a lot of us who experienced this situation with a chip on our shoulder, a superiority chip, if you will. We all thought like, I'm better than you. I'm not like those ghetto, bougie black girls with the weaves and the nails. I promise you I was like this. And I say it that way very purposely because that is how I thought. Okay. I was like, listen, I'm white adjacent. White people like me. But the older I got, the less I enjoyed that because I stopped fitting in there and I had trouble having community with other Black people. And I did not like that. I didn't like it when white people started saying things to me like, you are the whitest Black girl I know. I was like, wait, that makes me feel super uncomfortable. And I don't really like it when you say that. It took until my 30s when I worked at a warehouse, because I don't know how it is where y'all are, but I worked for Chewy, Chewy, the pet place. But here in the South in Texas, most of them are very, very Black spaces. It is 90% Black people who work in there, right? And for the first time in my life, I had to be amongst my own people. And this time I just dusted off that chip. I dusted that chip off my shoulder. I was like, you know what? Let me just relax. Let me just try to be myself and see how that goes. Let me get my superiority chip off this shoulder and off this shoulder, and let's see how we live our lives, okay? As soon as I did that, magic. I'm like, to this day, like I'm getting just a smidgen teary-eyed, but most amazing experience of my life. It's why to this, like anytime I see somebody saying like, oh, I have trouble with white people. Like I'm too Black for white people and I'm too white for Black people. I'm like, baby, it's you. It is your attitude. As someone who's lived through this, I'm not saying my lived experience is everyone's, but I am going to say most of the time, it is you. You are giving off like gross energy towards your own people. It's just like, you just are. You're just over here like, now look at me. I'm living my best braid life. I'm in community with Black people. I have a nice time. I enjoy being Black every day of my life. I wouldn't want to trade that for anything. Like, I wear my natural hair. I don't get it relaxed, which I should take these braids out, but child, I haven't wanted to. Okay. I'm too lazy. I know because I know when I go back to work, it's just gonna be more 12-hour days, and I just don't want to deal with it. Montana Nerd said, I'm late. I'm at the beginning, but feel it's important to affirm that Izzy drinks are damn good at room temp. You get bigger fruit flavor. No, you're correct. They are good at room temp. See, you lived in Okinawa. For everyone, me and Audra's age, The Cosby Show was the bee's knees. We didn't know. Of course we didn't. It's still like a good show. Like when you go back, Kidology gives me, I'm not like the other girls, honestly. She did. That was my issue. She very much gave me like, I'm one of the good Blacks, and that's fine. I said it that way very specifically, by the way. But if you come in my comments being like the Blacks, we're going to have a problem. You know why. Yeah. Like, I was young. I don't remember if I really understood poverty and the ghetto. Yeah. I used to live 3 blocks or so from Ben's. So glad I never ran into him. Oh my God. Let's see. Ageless Beauty said, I liked Kidology a while ago, and my godson works at Chewy's, but he's remote. Yeah, that's because he has like the good part. I was working in the warehouse because I'm really strong. Also, I don't want to. The autism and ADHD won out is where that happened. I'd been corporate for my entire career up until I started working in automotive and whatnot. Even then I was corporate and automotive, and I finally was like, enough's enough. Like both of those things just smashed and said, we can't do all this mess. But Olivia, that's my next thing. I just could not get into her apolitical stance or whatever. Everyone has political bias, everyone. And this has been my problem with Kidology as well, is that she states that she's apolitical, but very consistently has content, 2 actually pieces of work that are talking about how the left needs to do better. Also courts Jordan Peterson's audience quite a bit. Not saying that there's anything wrong with that. I mean, I don't agree with it. Whatever your cup of tea is your cup of tea. But I just really was never a fan of someone who says, and I still won't ever be a fan of someone who says that they're apolitical. Especially if you're going to hypocrisy in the title, say that and then have videos about politics. If you're if apolitical is who you are and that is supposed to be the truth, then your videos should literally have nothing to do ever with politics. You shouldn't care and you shouldn't talk about it. And I'm not saying that to be like nasty. I'm saying if you say that that is who you are, then why would you have conversations about politics at all? Like if I tell you I'm never going to talk about makeup because I don't like it, but then every other video is a makeup video, you're going to be looking at me sideways being like, Audra, I thought you said you didn't like it though. But you're, for someone who doesn't like it, you're making a lot of videos on it. That's just me. That's just me. You know, so for me, this entire 2-hour 39 video, and again, I really like Unpoetic Justice usually. This video wasn't it for me. And it wasn't it for me for just, I don't want to be rude to anyone else. Like that's not my thing. I don't want to apologize for or stick up for someone who to me is transphobic, creators who are transphobic. You know, I feel like Keffels was in there. I don't want to say their name because like I don't want their mob of angry people to come over and like get mad at me. I'm not in the mood for all that. It actually doesn't matter. I'm about to go work. Once I get back to work, I'm like, sorry, I'll be working 12 hours a day for the next few days. So I can't see your comments on how stupid I am and how misinformed. But I can't condone that behavior. I can't watch somebody be in what I perceive as transphobic and excuse it away. I don't love that. And to me, both Kidology's video and this video by Unpoetic Justice sum up everything that I feel is wrong with the left. And the problem is, why are we being so pedantic and just so breaking everything down into little bits? It's why the online left sucks a lot of times. Because why is it like this? Why do we have to break down every little thing? Like why myopic? It's just ridiculous. Like we can't even just be in spaces together. And I kind of viewed both of these for me as not being in an in-group and I guess being slightly annoyed about it. I don't know. That was what I looked at it as. I don't want to be in any of the cornbread or bread tube. I just enjoy the content. It's not remarkable that people would have conversations about the left and leftist ideals and then like not necessarily participate in all of that. It's not like a gotcha moment. To me, it's not a gotcha moment. Because as I've said, I think I said this on my stream earlier today when I was on Twitch, I was like, the reality here is that we use this as something to say to people as an insult, but it's not. We often say to people, those who can't do, teach. But that teach role is extremely important because how then would we do? And I just want to say, if you are, in fact, taking people, especially if you are like my age, and I'm not trying to be ageist, but I'm going to be. If you are taking the things that these people are saying as like the gospel and you're not utilizing this to further your understanding of something, that becomes on you at some point. That's the very thing that we levy against the right all the time. We levy against them that they don't bother to look into things further. I feel like the online left, cornbread tube, bread tube, whatever you want to call it, the entire point is to give you thoughts and ideas and you choose what you want to do with it. Like that's the point. You choose what you want to do with it. It's up to you on whether you just are listening to it as entertainment, whether you're listening to it as an awakening for you, you know? But watching this like tit for tat bullshit go on, which I've been watching this go on for years. FT Signifier even has a video about it. About how he like, I feel like it was heart attack, but I'm not sure. Let's see. because I remember watching the video. Like, what is the actual point in us nitpicking each other all the time? Because I'm going to say right now, like, if I wasn't already a leftist with leftist ideals, if I wasn't already ancient and I came over here looking for ideas and information, and I just noticed that the crew was just like battling within themselves, it's no wonder people just slide on over to the right, where it's pretty easy. And I don't mean that against anybody who is like right, but I'm just saying it's pretty easy. You just slide over there and people are like, thing bad. You're like, yep. They're like, this thing good. They're like, yup. They're not trying to break everything down into the little bitty crumbs of every single thing that is happening. And I just feel like if this is what we're going to do, then what is the point? A year ago, that's it, right here. FD made a video about it. I hope I'm not in the way. That said, leftist infighting almost killed me. That's this video right here. So, that being said, I am unsure of what the entire point of any of these infighting ass videos are doing for the left. The constant haranguing and screaming about like, well, you say you're anti-capitalist, but you live here and you get sponsorships and you make money on YouTube and you have a house is getting to be just ridiculous. Like, you can't just leave the country. I think that we all know that by now. It would be great if you could, but we all are very much aware that losing United States citizenship means you're losing a lot of access to a lot of things. Not just living here, but also being able to find another place to land. And for me, it would also be another form of colonization, depending on what nation or country you decide to go to, because then we're just going over there trying to remake what we want in our ideal using capital that they do not have and pushing out the people who already live there. We've seen this before. Why are we doing it again? Why would we want to? Sorry, I'm shouting. Yes, serenity, saying be in community with people outside of our bubble, which I kind of agree with, but not to that extent. Yeah, because here's the thing, you do get in community with people outside of your bubble, but we also, like, I'm going to say this as YouTube. I'm going to speak from somebody who does YouTube. Having done YouTube, there are going to be people that I will almost always collaborate with. Some of them are in this chat. There are people that I like imperfectly am. I will always collaborate with them. Do you know why? Because I know I can depend on them. I know I can count on them. I know that if I was filming a video and needed M to film something on their end so that I could put that in my video, they would. And they would have it done in time for me to do the editing and have my video up. That is why there are clicks. It's just going to be that way. It just is. And that's everywhere. That's all of the things. That's not just YouTube, but for this purpose, we're talking about YouTube. There will be clicks. There are going to be people who understand who works well with one another. Sometimes somebody could watch your content and be like, your content's fire, but it's just not for me. We don't agree, and that's fine. But I don't know. A lot of people think just leave is the answer, and it isn't. It would be nice if just leaving was the answer. It would be great. But what the US does affects everything. It's going to follow you. It will follow you. Like, even if you do find some other place to go, the policies of the US will affect you and follow you. So what would be the point? What would be the point in leaving when you can attempt to affect change, however little that you can, wherever it is that you live? Because by that standard, anybody and everybody in any war-torn place should have just left the moment it got bad and not stayed and not tried to fight for their home and fight for their right to be there. By that logic, they should just be like, oh, they don't want us here. Let's go. So I don't get it. I'm really a fan of all of these creators. I think as was said in that video, that I did agree with it's edutainment. And the point of learning, to me, is that it should be fun, honestly. Who the hell wants to go to class and they're not teaching you anything fun? Clicks really are a natural form of human relationship, for better and worse. They really are. It sucks, but it just is. You can be part of an in-group or you could not be. no offense to Americans, but every time someone gets elected and I'm moving to Canada, cracks me up every time. No, you're not. 100% they're not. A lot of people don't know how much they're missing because it's really fairly expensive for Americans to travel in general. A lot of Americans don't even have their passport. But if you don't know, America's huge as fuck. So there's a reason for that, for a lot of people to just not have it. And then a lot of Americans, when they do travel, they tend to travel to territories where they don't have to have a passport. So there's that aspect of it as well. But the realization here is that Americans don't realize until they've left how much that they lose leaving this country. And I'm not just talking about stuff. I'm talking about if you have the way that you eat changes. And for those of us who are neurodivergent, I have some difficulties with food in general. I'm not really super willing to change that. I know that's wild. I know it seems dumb to some people, but I'm not. I've already said it before jokingly, but I seriously mean it. If there's a zombie apocalypse, leave me alone. Don't try to save me. I don't want to be saved. Don't save her. She don't want to be saved. Because I'm telling you right now, if there's no toilet paper, no running water, if there's weird textured food, I'm out. I'm done. Let me go. But people really do think that, like, oh, I can't believe it. But they know better. And any American who has traveled knows better. And they know, and anybody who is contemplating actually leaving knows what they're getting like letting go of and what they're going to have to deal with. They're aware of that. And also the concept of people just living exactly as they say as they speak about just it's not ever been something that I expected anyone to do. Because not everybody, but pejorative think those people are weird. And they don't actually get to affect change when they're living off the grid, being strange to the rest of us. Like, how do you get your message out? If you're off the grid, how do you get your message out? How do you affect change? So that was me. I normally really like points, but camo, I'm the same. I am not a survivor. I'm going out the first wave, period. I will not be here. I will not be here at all. I am tempted to move back to the motherland, but I know what I got here in the States and what I'm leaving behind theoretically. Exactly that, MJ. And that's the hard part. Is like, you have to really be able to travel, which is something a lot of people do not even have the ability to do. And I say this in all seriousness, you have to be able to travel to places and try to determine where you would want to put down roots. And that costs a lot of money, and the US ain't trying to pay you any money. And this is a place where even just trying to sleep in your car becomes more and more difficult. So, Jacqueline, hi. Food and bathroom issues are the reason I don't like to travel. Exactly. Listen, there are places I will go for sure to travel, but there's a lot of places where I'm like, absolutely not. Like, I have IBS. Nobody needed to know that, but you do now. I can't just be eating any old thing. Leave me alone. Well, Joycey, that's what we thought before, but we don't know. We'll see how this one turns out. Technically, Tracy, I had no prior knowledge of BreadTube, and I'm getting a good education now. Yeah. So, I think here's the thing. I think that video essays have their place, and just like everything has its place. I think it's nice for us to have places where we can go, we can listen to ideas and learn. And however you choose to use those ideas is up to you. But I think the concept of nitpicking the online left at every last turn for not being lefter and more lefter is just like making the sector unfun and uninteresting. I want to be able to listen to your content and find it enjoyable and have some thoughts that, provoke me. There are things that I have changed in my life because of things that people have said in these videos. Habits that I have changed. One of the things that I was like, I should do that. From listening to Cornbread Tube, I bought a house with my mom. I was like, yeah, why are we paying for 2 homes? Why are we paying for that? Like this is a better option for both of us, and we can take care of one another. You know, my mom takes care of Bo when I'm at work. I take care of her cats whenever she leaves. Yes, Panda, this is the big part. Moving is really hard. Because I live in Texas, which, as a lot of people know, not great politically, but Texas has 38 electoral votes, and not all of them go for red. So the very idea, if you don't like it, you can leave. If everybody who hated a place left and was like financially able to, let's just fake pretend world, everybody's able to move. Then you leave everything, the whole, just all red, just nightmarish. But yeah, if it's not learning a different language, it's the cultural paradigm shifts. Yeah. And that's the other thing, is like you'd have to be comfortable with the language and learning the language. I know that a lot of people speak English all over the world, but if you're going to live somewhere, it's probably in your best interest to learn the language of wherever it is you move to. So yeah, I don't really know how to feel after having watched that video, because I also didn't. There were a few times where I got lost in the sauce. I think both Poetic Justice and Kidology, my opinion, you can get mad at me if you want to, it's fine, have a word salad tendency where I would just rewind and be like, I don't know what's happening, and then I have to like go back and re-listen to it. But otherwise, it was a very well put together video essay. I could never be a video essayist, and I will always say that 100%. My ADHD could never. I would never be able to do that. The very concept, I've tried multiple times to do an actual full script. Babes, the minute I start trying to film, I hate everything about it, or I start trying to go off script, and it's just messy. Hence why we live stream. We get some things together. Sometimes I have like bullet points, you know what I mean? But I'm not the person to actually be able to sit down and fully script a thing. Like, I give my hats off to everybody who can, because it will not be me. Ever. And that's the thing too, is like people, like even racism in the South. I live out here in Texas. It is far more complicated than people want to give it credit for. So it's just like a whole other beast here. You know, like there are a lot of people here who don't actually think that they are racist, because like they're my neighbor, and not just my neighbor, but we go over for barbecues and we do these things and we share things and we do all this stuff, and they don't feel that they are racist. And that's a whole other complicated can of worms I'm not going to open up today. Hey. Also, I found European countries that people say are so great have their problems. They're just better at hiding them from the US than the US. Yes, that is very true. That is very, very true. Mayra, okay. It's like I thought it was just me. I gave it a few minutes and was so confused. Here's the thing. I think that just because you are very good at putting words together doesn't mean you have to put them all together at the same time. And that's something that I think about everybody. Like, there are a lot of creators where I do that too. I'm sure people would say that about me from time to time. But there's a lot of times where I'm just like, you used a lot of words when you could have just like made a concise sentence that made me understand exactly what you were trying to get at. Because there are a couple times in this video where I was just like, what is the point we were trying to make here? and it took me too long to understand. I was just like, what is going on? Please send help. Like, a couple times where I'm like, maybe I'm just stupid, and it's fine. It's fine if you consider that I'm dumb. It's fine. I don't care. If I'm dumb because I couldn't understand some of that, then that's fine. I'm dumb. It's cool. Like, it will never bother me. It will never bother me to be like, I'm not intelligent enough for that particular situation. It's fine. Because I think the final thing that I wanted to talk about with regards to that video was this nitpicking about, well, this person only talks about things from their perspective, which of course they do. And I think it very much leaves out the fact that a lot of these creators who are in Cornbread Tube, or they all do add other perspectives. I have multiple videos, FD Signifier, who I'm bringing up his name because he's very much singled out in this video. I'm bringing up FD Signifier because there's been multiple videos where he has invited other people to the table in his videos to speak on their perspective because he does not have that. So that, I feel like that was also missing from that. And I don't really know how to feel. I'm going to obviously wait for like another video or two from a Poetic Justice before. For me personally, I make my choice, but I don't know how I feel about defending a transphobe. I don't know how to feel about that. Okay, Serenity. That part, I was ready to leave several times in that video. I get that things are complex, but some things don't have to be that complicated. 100%. Dark Angel, thank you. I love the live streams. It's a community. That's the point. I actually want it to be fun. And I always find it funny how like video essayists will always call out live streams in React channels, which I always think is funny to me, because what is a video essay but a long reaction to something that's happening? Well, that's that. I've got a like everything that everything is a reaction to something. Like that's the point. So there's that. But yeah, I just found that interesting. I think that there's no such thing, and y'all know this. I've said this 100,000 times, and I'll keep saying it. Probably not 100,000, because that would mean I've made like a lot of videos, or I've said it too many times in multiple videos. I've said that was hyperbole, obviously, but sorry, I fixate on little things. Apologies. Now I forgot what I was saying because I got fixated on like, I've said this a bunch of times, 100,000 times, but you can only speak from your perspective. I'll just go back there because you can really only speak from your perspective. I cannot speak from the perspective of someone who is trans because I am not. Although depending on who you ask in the queer community, non-binary could be considered trans. So either way, I don't care. I know the labels exist. Neither one bothers me. But I don't think that it's fair to have this kind of conversation. And I feel like a lot was missing. I think if you're going to have a 2-hour 39 defending somebody, I need all the pieces. And I didn't get all the pieces. I felt like it was very much slanted. Bias. That's what I was trying to say. There's no such thing as being unbiased. Like when I started this out and I started talking about it, like why I'm unbiased. I am biased towards certain creators in here. Now I don't have any skin in the game. None of these people are going to be my friends. I would hope not. That would make me uncomfortable. But we're not going to hang out. But I just watch this, and obviously like I like FD's content, I like Khadijah's content. I had bounced out of Kidology's video even before the transphobia started, and I'm glad that I left personally. Like I'm happy that I'm not watching that content. It's not for me, and that's fine. Everything doesn't have to be for you, and that's also fine. That's why I enjoy the leftist spaces as they are. I don't want everybody making the same content and coming up with the same ideas, because then it's not fun for me. Then I'm not learning anything new. I'm learning the same shit from like 12 different people. Why would I want to do that? I want to hear different points of view from everybody. And I think that if you have one person, like if I'm sitting here trying to give you the perspective of all of these people, then what is the point? You know? So yeah. That's weird. Oh, there it is. So Olivia, yes, FD brings other people. I was so confused by that point. Thank you. And the part I did not agree with was when she said Kidology was not transphobic. I also did not agree with that. Enough trans people have said it too. It's probably my mom. Hold on. Sorry, it's my mum. She's grocery shopping, and I have to. I will always answer. Yeah, that's the thing. it's not up to me to say whether or not someone is being ableist, is being like, even if I don't feel like somebody is being ableist or racist towards me, I also don't get to negate someone else's experience of feeling that thing. That's why the whole conversation, I'm black and I didn't find that offensive, is dumb, because good for you. Glad you didn't. But these people did. Both of your experiences are valid. Like, you can just sit there and be like, oh, I don't, who cares? But like, these people care. And if you're on the outside of that group, you don't get to participate in that conversation anytime. It is chicken time. It's time for, she was going to get a rotisserie chicken. And I was like, no, get the other chicken because I like it better. I saw FD's video on Nebula and then watched Unpoetic Justice's video yesterday. I had a lot of thoughts about it. I do not have Nebula because I'm just paying for all the bills and shit. I just didn't want to add another subscription to my life, even though it paid creators. But like, yeah. Kidology seems transphobic, and FD saying he's not speaking to the experience of trans folks because their existence should not be debated. They exist, let's embrace them. 100%. I don't feel like people's existence should be debated ever. I think the only wrong that was made there is that like don't do debates with people live. I just don't do it. Jacqueline, sarcasm. Nope, we totally have to be the same and have the same opinion. At least that's what the overlords think. Yeah. I don't think that there is a special way to be a leftist. I feel like if we keep going down this road, we will continue to lose people from this avenue. Oh, sorry. His was the one from the year ago. I was just okay. Yeah. I don't feel like we need to keep doing this. Like I'm hoping that nobody else in the cornbread tube area does a whole ass video essay on this. 'Cause it's pointless. Because when I happen to go peek into whatever it is that they're doing on, is it pancakes? Pancake tube? What are they calling themselves over there? Right tube? Whenever I go over there, I'm like, but if I ever go over there, like, they're not doing this. They're not regularly trying to consume one another. It's weird. 93 run, that's it right there. That was also the issue that I had. I feel Kidology, like Jordan Peterson, uses their education to give the appearance of the higher moral ground. Yes, it reminds me a lot of what Ben Shapiro does. Listen, don't get mad at me, but Ben Shapiro very purposely speaks in that voice, in that cadence, because that is the annoying voice and the cadence of nerds, and people trust nerds. So he's done that very purposely. Like, it's the same thing with the intellectual cadence. An intellectual cadence will do things. Well, they go, so you might think that da-da-da means da-da-da-da-da, but da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. There's different cadences. Cursed tube. Listen. I find debating to always be a waste of time. I like conversations. I like roundtables where people are on the same side but have different ways of looking at it. I find that more interesting to me. Because to me, debating people who are not on the same side is a pointless endeavor, because it just ends up in mudslinging, fighting, over talking. I'm not getting anything out of this, and nobody's position changes. So to me, that's why I don't like debating people from different sides. Nobody's position changes after it's over. And it's more about who won than it is about like sharing ideas, which is why I prefer like a round table situation. Not yeast tube. Making the lives of trans people makes all of our lives better, 100%. So for someone to suggest not to focus on it because we'll piss off the cis whites, it's terrible. Not Benny Shaps. Benny Shaps just talks fast and over you, so ergo, concordantly, he wins. Wait. Benny Shaps just talks fast and over you, so ergo, concordantly, he wins. Did I do it? Listen, did I do it? Because I want money. Why am I like this? I'm a nightmare. You know, because like if you want to watch like some streams that bring joy and positivity to your life, that really get you thinking, and you're just like having a, I wonder if it's going to pull it up, an absolutely enlightened time. If y'all have not seen these two, I'm going to try to bring them up for you. Because y'all know I love my Khadijah. And been lighting up my Instagram with pole dancing, and I was like, oh my god. Oh my god. I ain't mad, listen, but this answering your dating questions with Carrie Sutra, so good, such a good stream. It was so nice. I think I was actually in that, and I did make comments on that particular stream, but I really enjoy the content that they make. Their Instagram is magical. If you're not following them on Instagram, please do. But I really enjoy the content that they make. I think it's very thoughtful, and my opinion of that particular content is that I don't feel like it's ever designed to try to take anyone down. And I just don't like takedown content in general. I think I'm kind of over it. And am I probably still going to participate in it because I'm a fucking hypocrite? You're damn right I am. I've always said I'm a hypocrite. I will never take that down. Mbo. At least that's what I think. I feel like I've heard it multiple times, Mbo. But some people will say Bo. And those people would probably be wrong or right. Let's ask Khadijah. I can't take credit for the nickname. I heard from Robert Evans on the Behind the Bastards podcast. I'm going to forever say Serenity. I would think that as well. I think Khadijah does what Poetic thinks she's doing. No shade. I think that there is a way to have these conversations around how you feel, what is going on with Cornbread Tube. If you feel left out, if you feel like you're not being part of the conversation, if you feel like they're not inviting you into their group, I don't know if making video after video about how much you don't like them is going to help. But I also feel that, and again, we can critique people, but I am starting to get the sensation that we're no longer critiquing people. We're trying to do these like takedowns and defenses of others. So that's not my cup of tea. So I'm hoping that the other content is good. I hope because the other stuff I saw from Unpoetic Justice I really liked, and I'm still wrestling with the defense of someone who's transphobic. Because I just, I can't. I don't know why I'm wrestling with it. I shouldn't wrestle. We'll see what they have to say, but I'm not going to wrestle with it. So that was a fun time. I guess it was fun while it lasted. Poetic Justice, you're super smart and very intelligent, but I just can't, I'm sorry. Listen, yikes. Panda, what's up? Before I bounce out of here, because I think, listen, Bo was so high yesterday. I'm going to read this comment. We're going to talk about Bo. I'm going to get on out of here because I'm going to eat. What? All the food. You're talking to somebody who wakes up just about every day at 2 to 3 a.m. hungry. What do I need to have already? That's why I have a microwave and shit back here, because I need to be able to make food when I wake up. I'm zombie eating. I swear to you, zombie eating. And then I go back to sleep, wake up, 2 or 3 hours later, still starving. My body is hateful as all get out. So Panda said, my perspective on the FD and kidology debacle is slightly different, but I also don't like either one's overall perspective on blackness or leftism. That's fair. That is fair. I'd love to hear some of your perspective. I don't think that those two people should have talked to each other at all, is my opinion. I don't think they should have ever been in the right room. My issues with FD tend to be more Some of the things he says about leftists and black men don't necessarily vibe is true for me. My opinion, but I love his video on wrestling. I like more of his I tend to enjoy more of the media driven videos that discuss blackness rather than the discussion of blackness itself. That's me. Poetic Justice has been centrist. Well, according to her, she is a political nihilist, which I don't get the point of that at all. And I'm just trying to understand it. Like, I don't get the point of that. Because then I just wouldn't see the point in being here. To me, if there's no hope, there's no reason to be here. I stopped watching their vids a while back once I realized, okay, yeah, I'm not a fan of centrists. It's because I don't get it. Super high metabolism. I don't think my metabolism is out of control. It's a lot of it has to do with the fact that I'm working the 12-hour days. I swear that's what it is. Because I can feel it, like it's a hollow, like right here. There's like a hollow right there all the time. It hurts. Kiara, I value his perspective about black men because he has the experience as one, and I do not. So I think it's mostly useful. Yes. His Lauryn Hill video was interesting. It was interesting. Nihilist in this economy? Yeah. That's why it's just, I'm never, listen, the way I'm never going to understand the way that people will be like, well, you said this thing, so you have to live that way. And I'm like, okay. I just want to keep saying we live in a capitalist society. And me personally, when I say I don't like capitalism, because this is one of the things that I did like about Kidology's video. She talks about like neo-capitalists and all of this kind of stuff, which I found interesting. My issue is American capitalism, negative connotations very specifically, because American capitalism has very consistently proven that they absolutely refuse to follow any of the rules of economics and or capitalism. So when a bank fails, instead of letting it fail and letting the market reset, they rescue it. Instead of having rules and regulations that keep things nice and even and keep people from getting damaged, fend from happening, they relax all of that. So people can just be putting out poison to people. That's my problem. I don't like having conversations about consumption and overconsumption, because I think that, especially right now with the way that we are living, listen, with the way in which people are having to work harder and harder and longer hours, which means that they're having less and less personal time for themselves. I understand the need to get that dopamine hit by buying something, whatever it may be, whether it be more video games, whether it be another addition to your plushie collection, whether it be another glass spider, whether it be that. These are the things. I have all kinds of stuff like up here. These are things that people are doing quite literally because, like, what else do we have? Everything costs money now. Going to the park costs money. You have because it's not right by you anymore. You now have to get in your car and go there. So you need gas. There's not going to be water there. So you have to make sure that you have food and snacks when you get to the park, because you can't just get there and have a day. You can't just decide that you're going to play baseball at the park, because you probably have to rent out that space. And even if the fee is nominal, you still have to pay. So what I'm talking about with the destroy capitalism, I'm talking about we need to get the rules and the regulations back in place. We have got to stop allowing corporations to tromp all over our rights. Corporations should not be allowed to give money to any political campaign ever, period. Nonprofits actually need to be nonprofit. Like, these are the things. These are the things. So that's how I feel about things. I try not to devolve into nihilism because I'm aware that for me, if I feel like everything is essentially hopeless, then there's no reason for me to continue. And I don't want to pass on that ideology to anybody, because everybody's struggling as it stands. Ozempic is in fact the fin of today. But everybody's struggling today. A lot of people, not everybody, a lot of us are struggling just to make it day to day, to have some form of hope in our hearts and in our spirits. And I want you to have that. Like, I want people to have that. And I think if people can give it to you in a way that also can educate you, okay. And the point is, one of the things I liked about your comment, Panda, is that you watch the content, you view it critically, you make your choices, but you're not looking at it as the end goal. And I think that is my problem with the criticisms around BreadTube and Cornbread Tube in general, is these criticisms keep coming up that you're not lefter or leftist enough. You need to get more lefter. Need to get to the lefter because it feels like you're a little too close to the right, and you're not lefting like I'm lefting, and you're not queering like I'm queering. And I just don't feel like that's helping anything. So I'm listening to the ideas, and I'm taking all of these things, and I find ways to incorporate them into my life. I find ways to consume less or consume in a more healthy way. You know, are you buying your feelings? You're goddamn right I am. I am sad and I need to play more video games. Okay. Let me shoot things with my pew pew in the game and live my best life. Watch all the brain splatter and all that good stuff because it brings me joy. And I will just, every time Sony has a sale, I'm like, let me just buy 5 of these 70% off games. Do I even like them? No. So, oh my gosh. You know what? Listen, there are things where I just stay out of. And there are parts of YouTube that I'm not a part of. Thank you, Dark Angel. That is why my makeup collection is strong. That is why Jacqueline has all the plushies. That is why Kiara has a huge doll collection. Thank you, Marcy. I have 4 jobs. Let me have my vice. 100%. Because y'all know how I feel about Shein. Every time people start talking shit about Shein, I get pissed off. And I'm like, y'all are talking about YouTube. Y'all are talking about creator Shein. You're not talking about regular people Shein. So please shut the fuck up. Kindly shut the fuck up. Not everyone can or is willing to be an anarchist. Yeah, I need running water. I need to have my hot running water. A hot shower is how I reset myself every day. And listen, if my job was content creation, I promise you I would have like 3 hot showers a day. 3. Panda, same. I think FD should have had this conversation with Kidology offline first, like over a DM. I agree with that. 100%. Because he himself, I just don't think everybody is set up for all of the debating, and I just don't think it's helpful. And I agree with you. I think that he should have had that conversation. Like, they should have had that conversation offline, or if they were going to have it in that format, just like not even for their patrons, just the 2 of them talking on StreamYard and speaking back and forth to one another. And once it was done, if they realized, like, you know what, maybe we shouldn't put this up. Again, I don't think she should have had a hate mob coming her way just because if you don't agree with somebody, I've said it multiple times, don't go over their channel when you're giving them engagement. And that engagement goes both ways. It brings people, like-minded people to their channel, and it also is going to bring more haters. And I just don't, this is the internet. The internet is both fake and real life. Both things are true. Don't go hating people on the internet. It's gross. Please stop it. Like, it's not a kind thing to do. And as I've said, like, I am not nice, but I am kind. With my periods, I need indoor plumbing 100%. Like, there's a crime scene going down. Paint markers, weed, and Monster Energy. Hell yeah. Yeah, he also said he hates debating. And so that's the thing. I thought it was so weird that he even did that, because I'm like, you hate debating, and I can obviously see why. And there's nothing wrong with that either. Like, Noah has said that as well. Like, I don't debate because I need to be able to have my thoughts all put together. And nobody likes a gotcha moment. And that's why I don't like debates, because I feel like it becomes about this, bet you didn't know this, did you? And then the other person looking confused about it. I complimented my coworker on her shirt, and she apologized because it was from Temu. I wanted to become assertive with whoever made her feel bad. Yeah, don't apologize for that shit. These things would not exist if people weren't short on money the way that they are. Like none of this would exist the way that it does if American capitalism was not squeezing every dollar out of you and taking as much of it from you as they can. So like food's more expensive. All of this stuff is more expensive. I'm never going to shit on you for the choices. I've said it with regards to even doing makeup content where I've straight up said like, listen, my hypocrisy, it exists. That's why I finally had to be like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to call out brands left and right because I know all this shit happened with this brand or that brand. I want this pretty thing because it's making me feel good today. And I know that makes people mad, but it's who I am. I'm not going to pretend I'm not a hypocrite. I'm always going to be one. I can't even go camping. I go glamping 100%. I would never listen. I will never go camping because first of all, that's how you get slashed apart by Jason Voorhees. But secondly, that is also how you become a werewolf. And being a werewolf isn't particularly that desirable as an adult. You know, like werewolves are for teenagers and vampires are for adults. It just makes sense. But also the electricity and the running water. I used to rave, Serenity. I used to rave. And I used to do the angriest light show you have ever seen in your life. But also, that is how I was like, I'm pretty sure them little thitty thoughts I had about being autistic and ADHD, pretty sure these are true. Because I don't, emotions are not a thing that I do well with. So, found out when I was raving, just listen. Angriest light show you've ever seen. And then I didn't want to do them anymore because my friends made fun of me and I was just like, oh, that hurt my feelings. So you guys suck. I was just proud of myself for learning how to like do my hands, like and do all the things and be able to like do the forwards and the backwards. I felt like a bad bitch and then y'all ruined it for me. But what if you could be the alpha werewolf? No. Like in a fantasy novel? Yes. Because the alpha werewolf, prepare yourselves, book talk girlies and tube talk girlies. He always looks at her and goes, mine. You're welcome. And on that note, listen, I expose myself way too much every time I do these streams. I thank each and every one of you for being here. And I appreciate y'all for spending an hour and 38 minutes and 15 seconds, now 16 seconds with me. Let me know in the comments if there's anything else. If y'all find something that I haven't seen yet, let me know. Hit me up in the comments. For those of y'all who made it all the way on the replay, I thank you so much. Remember, I'm a great babysitter for your cats, your dogs, and whatever other creatures you seem to have. And I will, until next time, I am so pretty and so are you. All right.